What's up guys, Siddharth here, back with another installment in the Rex Rumor Roundup series. And today we're going to be taking a look at the leaks and rumors of Google's upcoming flagship smartphone, the Google Pixel 2 and the Google Pixel 2 XL. But anyway, let's jump into the video. So first off, something that I'd like to talk about on this particular series is the design leaks, which have been enormous. So this was actually one of the first leaks that we were ever presented with. This was leaked by Android Police and it kind of looks like a concept, but it seems to be the real deal, as that's the same design that has been followed until now and rumored to be the actual design of Google's upcoming flagship smartphones. So let me break it down to you with front, back and sides. So up front we have on the Google Pixel 2 a 5.inch Super AMOLED Quad HD display made by LG. So the displays for the Google Pixel 2 and Pixel 2 XL are actually going to be made by LG, just like how Samsung produces OLED displays for Apple. But anyway, since LG is manufacturing Google's AMOLED displays this year, we've already seen what LG is capable of with the LG V30 and G6. With that weird aspect ratio of 18:9. So we could actually expect the same aspect ratio on the Google Pixels, can't we? But unfortunately, there have been some rumors that the Google Pixel 2 would not be having an 18:9 aspect ratio, but would rather have a 16:9 aspect ratio with a 5-inch display. It's still going to be Quad HD, so you're getting that actual quality, but it's not going to be large in terms of size. But there's actually going to be some amount of bezels which are going to be put to use on the Pixel 2. So the Pixel 2 is going to get exclusive stereoscopic speakers, so dual front-facing stereo speakers. But when you take a look at the Google Pixel 2 XL, the larger variant, we're actually getting the 18:9 aspect ratio with a massive 6-inch Super AMOLED display, Quad HD Plus resolution, guys. So another thing taking effect here is this phone is also going to have dual front-facing stereo speakers, but it's not going to pack as much as punch as the smaller variant is going to be. So with the smaller variant, you're actually getting bigger bezels, but those bezels are going to be integrated with better sound-producing speakers. But with the larger variant, you're actually getting very, very thin bezels, so there's not going to be a lot of place to add speaker modules that are of better sounding quality. So you're gonna get some sound, but they're not gonna be of audiophile quality. Now moving on to the bottom part of both smartphones, we see USB Type-C ports. They're probably gonna be USB 3.0, as Google might not integrate USB 3.1 into its Pixel devices just yet, but it's gonna be USB 3.0, and we don't see anything else. No speaker grills, because the speakers are gonna come up front. And there is no headphone jack. What? Now, I don't know why Google's planning on removing the headphone jack, especially since they teased Apple last year for them removing the headphone jack. But for Google right now, it's like a I told you so situation. So it's nothing big for them. And there actually might be a small reason why Google might have removed the headphone jack, which I'll mention in a moment, guys. Now moving on to the top part of the phone, we actually see the slot for the SIM tray, which I believe could be upgraded to a hybrid SIM slot where I could actually install a micro SD card. Now moving on, we take a look at the right side where we can see the power button as well as the volume rockers. Moving on to the left, there is nothing much to talk about the left because it's just a plain strip of brushed aluminum, which actually looks really, really good. So moving on, taking a look at the back portion of the device, it's not a huge upgrade from last year. Last year we had a half metal, half glass design in which the fingerprint scanner and the camera module would sit on the glass portion. So this year with the new Pixel devices, you're actually going to get 75% aluminum on the back with around 25% of glass, in which the fingerprint scanner would now lie on the metal portion, and on the glass you would have the newly upgraded camera module, I presume, because last year's camera module was really, really tiny with an f2.0 aperture. And my guess why the camera module for this phone is a lot bigger is probably to integrate a wider f-stop, guys. So maybe an f1.7 aperture, or if Google can even lengthen it out, maybe an f1.6 would be good, because LG's V30 device actually has an f1.6 aperture in their camera. Now right next to the camera we also see a small hole for the microphone, and next to that we also see the dual tone flash. So that wraps it up for the design leaks of the phone. It actually looks pretty decent through the concepts and leaked images, but it's only close enough to see how it looks live and real in your hand. I'll try to get a first impressions video if I can. If I can't, I'm sorry, but I'll try my level best to do a first impressions on video. So without any further ado, let's jump into the software and hardware leaks of this device. Now unfortunately, until now there have been no benchmark leaks for the Pixel 2 or Pixel 2 XL, but now according to my calculations, the Pixel 2 and Pixel 2 XL might come out of the box with Android 8.1.1 or 8.0. Now why I say 8.1.1, because last year when Google released its Pixel devices, they came out of the box with Android 7.1.1. So it's only fair if they release this year's devices with Android 8.1.1 out of the box. Now moving on to the hardware leaks, which have technically been released by Google themselves on YouTube. So get this, around a week ago, Google published this video on YouTube where it would just do some searches of what's wrong with their phones. And this actually would replicate to what's better on the Google Pixel devices. So let's start off by answering some of those questions with all the leaks that we've actually gathered. So first question was, what's wrong with my phone's battery? Now this question actually answers it by itself. I think Google is trying to push the battery limits and say that the Pixel 2 XL is going to have a 4000 mAh battery and the Pixel 2 is going to have a 3500 mAh battery. But if they have learned any better, they might actually reduce the battery capacity and say the Pixel 2 XL has a 3500 mAh where the Pixel 2 has a 3000 mAh battery. Moving on to the next question, why is my phone always out of storage? Now this is actually a question that was answered last year itself. The Google Pixel devices said to come with unlimited storage. Now this was only related to photos and videos. So whatever photo you took, it would actually be stored in the actual resolution on Google Photos, the cloud backup unit of Google. So even if you took a 4K video, it's going to be backed up into Google Photos in 4K rather than being compressed into a lower resolution. So that's what Google meant by unlimited storage, and I guess this year they're actually making it better in ways that you might not know. So we've answered that question. Moving on, the next question that needs to be answered is, why does my phone take blurry photos? Well, the answer to that is go and get a Google Pixel device. It takes way better photos than any other Android or iOS device. Well, that's the answer that Google's expecting. Moving on, the next question asks, why doesn't my phone understand me? Why can't my phone update itself? Why is my smartphone so slow? So to answer the questions such as, why is my smartphone so annoying, cruel, broken, this all has to relate to software, and not just any software, the Google Assistant. So possibly Google is going to be upgrading the software and make Google Assistant much more like an actual being. Moving on, there are also questions about why is my phone so slow, so hot, and so fragile. So the fragile part actually talks about the durability of the smartphone. Now since the Google Pixel is actually going to be made fully out of 7000 series brushed aluminum, it's also going to be covered in a few coats of Corning Gorilla Glass 5, which is until now kind of unbreakable. Well, at least it could be broken at some point, but it's going to take a lot of force to do that. So that's why that answers the question of why is my phone so fragile. To answer the questions of why is my phone so slow or why is my phone so hot, well, that has to do with the performance. So this smartphone is actually going to get a Snapdragon 835 processor. Wait a minute, didn't I hear the news that this smartphone is going to get a Snapdragon 836? Well, no, that's not true. Well, according to famous leakster Evan Blass, he actually first predicted that this smartphone would have the Snapdragon 836, but unfortunately Qualcomm has been unable to manufacture the Snapdragon 836 chipsets for the Google Pixel devices, and he is the one to report that as well. So do not expect the Snapdragon 836. Maybe as an updated edition, the Google Pixel might receive a hardware processor update, but until that maybe comes, it may come or may not, but until that comes, you're gonna have to sit with a Snapdragon 835 processor, which isn't bad for that fact. It's actually a pretty fast and really great processor, backed up with 4 GB of RAM, which should do it great with stock Android. So that's all for the question parts. We've all answered all the questions raised up by Google itself, and by this, my guess is you might have understand what the hardware specifications of the device are going to be. So these are the new hardware that are going to be available on the new Pixel 2 and Pixel 2 XL devices. Let me just give you one more overview on all the hardware specifications, as well as one new feature that's going to be added. So the new feature that's going to be added onto the Google Pixel 2 or Pixel 2 XL devices are HTC's squeeze functionality or EdgeSense, but that might be the reason why there is no headphone jack. So to add the technology, the squeeze functionality in the device, there might be some amount of sensors going into it which might be blocking the space to add a headphone jack. Now that might be the reason, but I'm still expecting an explanation from Google as to why they removed the headphone jack. The displays of these devices are actually going to be manufactured by LG, so the Pixel 2 device is going to have a Quad HD 5-inch Super AMOLED display, and the Pixel 2 XL will have a massive 6-inch Quad HD Plus Super AMOLED display. But with that, it's also going to get the weird aspect ratio of 2017 18:9 aspect ratio. Other hardware specs also include 4 gigs of RAM and 32 or 128 gig storage options for internal storage, a single 12.3 megapixel sensor with maybe an f1.8 or f1.7 aperture. The front-facing camera resolution is actually unknown, but my guess is it might be like 8 megapixels. Moving on, this smartphone is also going to contain Qualcomm Snapdragon 835 processor instead of the 836, as for reasons mentioned previously. We are also getting Bluetooth 5.0 in with the device, since that now is supported with Android Oreo. Now that's all on the hardware and software leaks of this device. Moving on to pricing, availability, and launch dates of this device. Now talking about the launch dates of these devices, this has also been mentioned in that video published by Google on YouTube. So according to this video, the launch of these devices are going to be on 4th of October 2017 at the Amphitheater Mountain View, California. Now taking this for a fact, that is the exact same date the Google Pixel was released last year. So on 2016 October 4th, the actual and original Google Pixel and Pixel XL devices were released. Now unfortunately, the availability of these devices are going to be unknown, but they will actually mention that in the Google event occurring on October the 4th. But let's start and talk about the Pixel pricing. So the smaller version, the Pixel 2 device, is going to be starting at a price of $649, and the larger variant is going to be at a starting price of $849. Now keep this in mind that these are just rumored prices and they might fluctuate or change, but according to me and according to rumors that I have collected, these are the prices that they are going to be available in. Moving on, let's talk a bit about the other things that might be released at the event. We don't have any exact news, but my guess is going to be that Google is going to be presenting a new Google Home device, as well as a new Google Daydream VR kit, as well as a new Google Chromecast or Chromecast audio kit. So these are just my guesses. They might be true, they might not. There are also going to be some software releases, such as the new Google Assistant software, the new Google software, as well as the new Android 8.1.1 software, and so on and so forth. So that wraps it up for this video. Hope you enjoyed this content. Leave a thumbs up, subscribe, hit the bell icon, follow me on all social media links linked down in the description below. Support me on Patreon, and I'll see you guys in the next one.